Good evening, this is vk3sl. Welcome to the late evening session tonight. Well, I'm pleased to be back, and it has been a massive week. So much so that I've sort of lost sight of what really goes on here, and we've had no afternoon missions. I did have some plans there, but that's just not going to happen. Too much happening at the coalface. That's the way of things. But I'm pleased to be here, and I'm looking forward very much to speaking with Frank later on. So we'll dial up Zoom-O-Matic, and at about 12:30ish. And we'll look forward to Frank's company, and we've got a great selection actually tonight. A really good choice. I'll leave you in suspense. And the only clue being it's the 437th birthday of the composer involved. Well, nothing else to report. On the technical front, I was dropped off an old TRF receiver this week, which was able to get going. It just took a half an hour or so and to wire up a battery bank. And lo and behold, the set from the late 1920s has an A409 and an L410 valve in it. And lo and behold, it works into an ancient speaks. And some ancient missions. That was good fun. So we'll put that on the shelf, on the museum shelf, and we'll have some 1920s radio magic to behold. So that was a little project. That's something that's happened this week. All right. Well, I'm pleased to say that we don't have to wear masks, as I sort of avoid wearing them where possible. I find ways around this mask situation. But I did find a good recording about masks. This one from Mr. Formby during the war. I did what I could with my mask. This is VK3SL testing.
Now I'm getting very fond of me gas mask, I declare. It hardly ever leaves my sight. I sling it on me back and I take it everywhere. It even comes to bed at night. It's been a real good pal to me, I must confess, and helped me out of many a mess. My sister had a lot of socks to mend, so she gave me a fat bouncing baby to tend. And when I felt it leaking at one end, well, I did what I could with me gas mask. I bought a farm because I like fresh air. At milking time I tried to do my share, and when I found the book it wasn't there. Well, I did what I could with me gas mask. The lady living next door, Mrs. X, she heard the sirens blow one morn at 10 to 6. She dashed outside in nothing but her nicks, but she knew what to do with the gas mask. By train I went for a very tiring ride. There wasn't any corridor outside, and when I felt the turning of the tide, well, I did what I could with me gas mask. To see old Epstein's Adam in the nude, I once thought I'd go with me Aunt Ermintrude. And when she sniffed and said, "Whew, how very rude," still he knows what to do with his gas mask. For years I've courted Annabella Price, and all was found just as cold as ice. Until one night the lass forgot her ma's advice. Then I did what I could with me gas mask.
There we go. That was Mr. Formby in full flight, Wartime Fair, and of course the mask theme endures. We still have to have them, supposedly, but you could wear a pair of underpants over your head. I've done that before. Well, I was just at the pianola a short time ago. I was thinking we haven't had a pianola roll for a long time, and I found one and I put it on, and then it just tore in half. So, yes, well, we've just found some sticky tape, and I'm trying to sort that one out. So we may get there. We'll see. In the interim, I'll continue with some nostalgia. This time, another associated recorded program service transcription record, care of Mr. J. And this one here is Russ Morgan from the 1930s, about 1936, I think, around about that time. Anyhow, let's have a listen to Mr. Morgan in pseudo hi-fi. This is vk3sl testing.
You back on your heels. Goody, goody. Oh, you met someone and now you know how it feels. Goody, goody. So you gave her your heart too, like I gave mine to you. And she broke it in little pieces. Now how do you do? Oh, you lie awake just singing the blues all night. Goody, goody. And you think that love's a barrel of dynamite. Hooray and hallelujah, you had it coming to you. Goody, goody for her, goody, goody for me. And I hope you're satisfied, you rascal, you.
Russ Morgan and the orchestra. I think there is another track. Yes, there is. It takes a while to lead in on these transcription records. It's a slow start, but we're there! Off we go. Russ Morgan and the orchestra from an Associated Recording Service pressing, a transcription record, one of these Hillendale hi-fi recordings from the 1930s, 1936, and that uses the best that Western Electric had to offer at that time. Beautifully recorded, and it sounds magnificent in here. I'm batching it tonight, folks. I'm on me lonesome. Well, not quite. I've got the male members of the household. All the female contingency are out and about. They've all gone to Marlow, having a bit of a holiday, and I'm on my own. I should have had a party. If I'd been more organised, I probably could have had a big missions bash, but we'll have to leave that to another time. We'll do it on air. Well, what else? I should say a few things about what this is about in case you're unfamiliar. These are test transmissions on 160 metres and VHF on 147.475 and 160, of course. And we do this every Saturday night. I've been doing it for 3 years now. It's been going for some time, and we sort of... I don't know, we find some meaning in it. I'm not quite sure what that is yet, but yeah, some things just capitulate, don't they? And I'm happy to be indulging in the collection here, for test purposes, of course. There's nothing whatsoever to do with entertainment. We're also streaming online, so if you feel inclined, you can look us up on YouTube and on a Broadwave server, which can be accessed via my QRZ page. Now, all this wasn't working until a short time ago. It's been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, because our internet providers did one of their big systems updates, and of course having a dynamic IP address means that all the port forwarding's got to change and everything, and of course I don't remember the passwords. It's one of those horrible things where you're chasing your tail. Eventually we got it sorted, and I think I have all systems up and running. I hope. So anyhow, that's the way it all happens. But we will continue with the non-music, and we've got something exotic. I'm sort of quite into the exotic files. Last week we sort of sampled the top shelf, and which featured a lot of continental music, and we'll do that again. This time we'll hear some Cyprian hits from the 1930s. These are records I transferred for a friend of mine, and I've got the records here, and they're all good fun, but I can't read the labels at all. They're all in acrylic script, and I don't even want to try, but the music is fantastic. vk3sl testing.
Το πεύκο τα πουρνάρια, τις ανθισμένες λιγαριές, τα πράσινα χορτάρια. Κι έλα στην πόλη αρχόντισσα, ρίγησα να σε κάνω, να σε καθίσω σε χαλιά και σε μετάξια πάνω. Στιγμή δε φεύγω απ' το βουνό, τα πλούτη τα περίφρονο. Έχω τα αρνιά μου συντροφιά του λόγου τον αγέρα, κι αντί για λόγια ερωτικά, του Γιάννου τη φλογέρα. δε φεύγω απ' το βουνό, τα πλούτη θα περιφρονώ. Έχω τα αρνιά μου συντροφιά του νόμου τον αγέρα κι αντί για λόγια ερωτικά του Γιάννου τη φλογέρα. Κι αντί για λόγια ερωτικά του Γιάννου τη φλογέρα.
Oh, it takes me somewhere else, to a far and distant place from another time. It's a veritable TARDIS. Listening to that material, it's wonderful. Very evocative. Brings me back to Romania. And of course, the Mediterranean countries did share a common heritage. And you get that wonderful melismatic quality to the music. Now, there's more. There's so many of these. Oh, I'd like to hear another one. I'm getting all deeply nostalgic now. Thank you, Mr. W, for your kind note. I wish I could have done the week missions. I hope to. I came in here a couple of times, but it's just not possible. The Tijuana taxi just takes me away from where I want to be, and that's just the nature of things. I did Friday, I did tonight, but it didn't start until about 5:30. It was just a brief test. Played an episode of The Shadow. I'll try and do Fridays. And if I'm around on the weekend, maybe, but it's an unknown quantity. I can't commit. That's the way. That's what happens. Now, here we go. Here's another one. I'll just cue this up. Right. Another Cyprian recording from the 1930s. vk3sl. Testing.
Βεργολίγερη μου το βαρύ μου τον καημό που αλυπητά με δέρνει και με παίρνει στο χαμό. Σ' αγαπώ σαν τίποτα άλλο μες στον κόσμο το μεγάλο και στο λεοπερδικούλα μου καθαρά. Πως ολοκληρώ το βιος μου θέλω να πουλήσω φως μου να σε δω καλή μου αρχοντοκυρά. Θα πουλήσω τη γουρούνα να σου πάρω μια γούνα. Θα πουλήσω και τα γίδια να σου πάρω δακτυλίδια. Θα πουλήσω φως μολύ τη στάνη να σου αγοράσω ένα φουστάνι με ολόκληρη σαπλουριά. Θα πουλήσω ακόμα ξέλο για άστρα και τον ουρανό μαζί με τα άστρα να σου πάρω μια καρδιά. Όσοι μάθαν πως θα στείλω με ένα φίλο προξενιά, λέ χαρά στο παλικάρι που θα πάρει τέτοια νιά. Μα η έννοια σου με ζώνει κι ο καημός με μαραζώνει. Πας κι εσύ και τον γέντας πυριπυρί. Τέρι μου καλή μου γίνε κι όλο μου το είναι. Για χατήρι σου θα βγάλω στο σφυρί. Θα πουλήσω τη γουρούνα να σου πάρω μια γούνα. Θα πουλήσω και τα γίδια να σου πάρω δακτυλίδια. Θα πουλήσω φως μολύ τη στάνη να σου αγοράσω ένα φουστάνι με ολόκληρη σαπλουριά. Θα πουλήσω ακόμα ξέλο για άστρα και τον ουρανό μαζί με τα άστρα να σου πάρω μια καρδιά. Θα πουλήσω φως μολύ τη στάνη να σου αγοράσω ένα φουστάνι με ολόκληρη σαπλουριά. Θα πουλήσω ακόμα ξέλο για άστρα και τον ουρανό μαζί με τα άστρα να σου πάρω μια καρδιά.
I'd love to know what they're singing about. Something really provincial, like the radishes are particularly good this year or something like that. There's one more. I'll play one more, then I'll crank up the pianola. I've just been sticking the roll together. It broke off halfway through, just tore in half. But I think I've fixed that. Anyhow, we'll have a listen to the pianola shortly, but we'll continue now with some more Cyprian music from the 1930s. This is vk3sl testing. This is not Radio Romania Actualitati. No, it's VK3SL, and we're sampling Cyprian music, nostalgia from the 1930s. And it's a large collection, and we'll have to have a lot more of this because it transports me. Well, I'm going to head over into the transmitter hall now where the pianola is. And I've got the lapel mic on. I'm going to just try that out now to make sure it works. So, hello, 1, 2, hello. Hello. There we go. I think it's happening. Right, well that means I can take the headphones off. Now, I make sure the levels are not too high. We'll head over to the transmitter hall. It's a bit of a 6-step hike. Lots of fans here. And I'll take my seat at the pianola, and we do have a recording here. No, a roll here. It says, "From an Indian Lodge, Woodland Sketches from Uncle Remus," played by Howard Brockway. and Edward. Oh, it's by Edward McDowell. All right, it's on a QRZ roll that just tore in half a moment ago, so we've done our best to stick it together. And since there's nobody in the house to bother, we will give this a Guernsey. Take it away, Foster Pianola from 1924. Something's not working here. We're getting a little bit of a mistrack. Maybe this sticking together situation's not going to work. No, it's not tracking. Why isn't it not tracking? We'll try that. Tearing up. It's a sacrificial play, I think. I don't think we're getting much more out of this. And that's the end. Well, that was a bit disappointing. I had higher hopes for that recording. But, oh well, I'll wind it off afterwards. Sorry, folks. That was a rather sketchy Woodlands track. That's the, what's it called? Woodlands Sketch, Indian Lodge. Yay, all right. Well, it was a bit of a sacrificial play because it tore up more. Never mind. Well, we'll get back to the desk. And am I still on mic? Looks like I am. And futile attempt. Well, I think we might head over to a non-message from our non-sponsors. I think that might be a good way to go. vk3sl. Everything is not doing as it should. There we go. That's better.
My blessing fall on this fair world, on mountain, valley, forest, ocean.
The song is ended, but the melody lingers on. How often have you wished you could hear it again? The privilege and pleasure of being able to do this can now be yours. You can enjoy encores of your favorite artists to your heart's content if you own one of the new His Master's Voice record players, which plugs into your radio and transforms it into what is virtually a radio and gramophone combination. You can get an His Master's Voice record player for as low as £4.19 and sixpence. Ask your nearest radio dealer about it.
Indeed, you certainly can. Back in 1936. There we go. This is vk3sl testing on 160 metres and also VHF and also a streaming service online. If you wish to hear me in Ultimate Fi, just go to the online stream on YouTube, which is working very nicely. All right, well, I'd like to also pay a homage to Mr. Chick Corea, who passed away a couple of weeks ago. We did play a number of Chick Corea tracks last week, but I'd like to continue because I have great admiration for this artist who was a real trendsetter and did a lot to really propagate fusion styles, fusion jazz. So I think he deserves to be recognised. Now, he recently gave a tiny desk concert. I like these tiny desk concerts. They're intimate and it's a nice atmosphere. Anyhow, here he is with Gary Burton. Chick Corea, Gary Burton in at the desk. VK3sl testing. That's a live performance of Chick Corea and Gary Burton on the Vibes, a tiny desk concert from a few years back. Well, we're celebrating the achievements of Mr. Corea. We've been doing that over the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to do it because there's plenty of great material out there. His repertoire was vast. So yeah, and Frank, I've just sent you a link, so that's all up and ready on Zoom. And what we'll do is have a listen to another historic recording. This one with Joe Venuti. This just popped up this week. It's on an old tempo record. It's a little bit over-processed, but quite impressed with this. It's interesting to hear Joe Venuti in a later decade. I sort of associate him with the Eddie Lang recordings and Paul Whiteman in the 20s, and he actually lived until 1970s. And but this is a recording, I think, from the early 40s or thereabouts. It's a performance of Summertime. This is vk3sl. Testing. Fantastic. That was Joe Venuti. His wonderful take on summertime. It's so expansive and rhapsodic and full of imagination, flights of fancy. He was a real pioneer on the fiddle. I mean, there are others like Stuff Smith and Stephen Capelli, but I think he was one of the first. He was out there doing amazing things early on. He features in some of those mid-1920s recordings, and so he would have to be one of the first violinists on the map. Certainly a virtuoso, and that recording says it all, really. I love the Hammond organ. It just, what a sound. Sound of the times. This is vk3sl Test Missions on 160 and also streaming online. Oh, sorry, I did mention 2 metres, did I? 160, 2 metres, streaming online. It's all there. It's out there. You can find it. Just look up my call sign. There's lots of bilge out there. And I'm just mucking around here. Now, very shortly, we'll usher Frank into the fold. And I've got something quite interesting to do that with. We have a disc here, Strings for a Space Age. Haha, we got Space Suite. Out of This World, a Blue Star, Out of Nowhere, Midnight Sun, it goes on, and it's all with Bobby Christian and his orchestra. Now, it's wonderful test fodder and just big soupy string sounds from the 60s. So we'll have this for a few minutes and then we'll look forward to chatting with Frank. So that's all happening. vk3sl. And with that, we admit Frank into the room. Can you hear me, Frank?
I certainly can. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you today? You right there?
Yes, all good. Just
getting sorted?
I'm just turning down the radio.
Okay.
Just bear with me.
No problems.
Otherwise, I'm getting too late. There we are.
Okay.
Yes. How are you?
Very good. Yeah, all fine.
good.
That was The Strings for a Space Age. Popular.
Yes, I heard it earlier. Was it last night or no, earlier tonight? I think.
Okay, yeah, I did. I played some of it, I think, earlier on. Yeah. So yeah, we have to we pick the best. And
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You never fail.
We pick the best for the late night programs. We sample things during the week. Yeah.
Now, can I just say good evening to our listener,
Yes.
especially Jamie and Wayne, if you're still with us.
Yes, definitely. A warm hello to both of you, and I don't know who else
would
is
be-
listening.
Speaking of Wayne, it would be really good if we could sometime organise some live
Yeah,
talking.
look, we're almost there. In fact, I did some prelim tests, and we can do it. And
Yes.
I was able to work through the menu on the TS 2000, and I've worked out how to. I've patched it in directly. I've found a little matching transformer. So it's
They're
all.
a great
it's
radio,
all,
aren't they?
Oh, look, they are. They're very versatile. So it's
Yes.
it's pretty much ready to go. I've just got to test it independently on UHF. I haven't done a UHF. I haven't cast on VHF and then bought in UHF yet. So
Right.
we'll try that out during the week, and hopefully we can
Excellent.
bring that all
Yes.
about. So
Yes. Well.
so anyhow, that's all good. So yes, definitely
Yes.
hello to those listening in. It's been quite a business to getting the streaming services sorted, because they when they do a system update on the NBN, they unfortunately it scrambles the IP address, and you've got to go through all the port forwarding and for the stream and everything, and it's quite convoluted actually.
Yes,
Took
that's what
ages.
you're talking about that earlier this evening.
Yeah, it's just a hassle, but look, we got there in the end. But yeah, when that does happen, periodically they do an update, and it requires a major overhaul here as well.
Is it very often they do it?
Not that often, a couple of times a year, and
Yeah.
it needs to be done. But that caught me a little bit off guard earlier on. But
Yes.
that's all okay. And how are you feeling these days? Are you finding some comfort with your lower back issues? And things?
It's sort of it's coming along. It's very bearable, and we're learning to live with it. And
Yeah.
and I'm getting some. I'm have a very good physio now. I have a lot of confidence in him,
That's good.
so that's good. So
Yeah.
I'm going quite well. Physically.
Sure. Yeah, I'm aware that it hasn't been an easy ride, and
Not really.
not in recent times.
But I'm able to walk a lot further now that I have this this walker. thing.
Okay, right. Okay.
It has a seat on it, you see. So if I get tired,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
can prop anywhere,
Oh,
put
that's
the
all right.
brake on, and
That's a good idea. You
oh,
need,
it's
you need to have a little
wonderful.
rack at the bottom so you can put a little portable transmitter in, so you take a seat and
I'll go walk a mobile.
put up a squid pole, and then you could generally be pedestrian mobile then, have all your kit and
No.
caboodle.
Don't laugh. I might just do it.
Good for you.
But
You could attach your
perhaps not the
squid.
squid pole. Perhaps not the squid pole, but something a little bit less grandiose.
Yeah. Oh,
I'd take advice from Mr. YE.
Yeah.
on,
He'll have some suggestions. Yeah.
Yes, he will.
It's prospect there. Yeah.
That brings me to my new transceiver, of course. We're currently doing battle with it at the moment. It's without boring you with a whole lot of detail. There is a serious difficulty in that it only lets you access one parameter at a time, and in order to do something else, you've got to close whatever you've got open down, and
that's
it's
a
a
bit
little
frustrating.
difficult when you don't
Yeah.
know exactly what you've got open some of the time. However, what it really needs, all it needs is what most other transceivers have, which is a reset button.
Yeah. That's right. Then you
And-
could just bring it back to default.
And it's the only transceiver I have ever seen since valves went out,
Yeah.
that doesn't have a means of easy reset.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You'd think it
But-
would. So
However,
you can't push two
being
keys.
a-
Sometimes you can push two keys at the same time and sort of at equidistant ends of the fascia, and they can do things, but no, maybe not.
Look, it would be easy for them to set it up, because especially as it is a software-defined thing.
Yeah. It's
So
probably
I'm
just
actually going to write to them and suggest, explain why I want it, and ask them to incorporate one in their next update.
Yeah, just do a firmware upgrade, and then you probably find you
Yeah.
can. Look, it's probably not that difficult. It's just a software issue, and just
I
reassign
should
a
think it'd be
button.
easy,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a desirable thing for everyone to have.
yeah, it is. It is. I know. I find myself getting lost in the
Yeah,
quagmire of menus, and then you can't do much.
Indeed. You just hit a button and you go back to square one and start again. Otherwise, you're winding back through the maze to sort of
Yeah, I know.
establish, your balance again.
Yeah, having to backtrack, it's ridiculous. Yeah, well, good luck. I wish you well with that. I mean, look, it's probably not that difficult. It's probably just a question of a few lines of code in the right place, and then maybe a
think
button
so.
that's not that used very much could just be easily reassigned for the just
The other
reset
characteristic
function.
it has, which I'm needing to come to terms with, is that there are two things about the buttons. They're in two lots of 15 buttons, one each side of the set, and they are very small buttons, designed, I'd have to say, for Oriental fingers,
Yeah.
and they are also very close together.
No, that's a bit frustrating. Yeah.
So it's a little bit, but that's just a getting used to it.
Have they got a very low profile? Are they really close to the front of the?
No. That's one thing I'll say for them. They are a good, definite.
So you can
press.
feel where they are. Yeah.
Oh yes, and you get good beeping.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. That's good. Because some things the profile's almost indistinguishable, and you find
I know that. No, they're certainly not like that.
Yeah.
No, they're good. They're good. Look, I've got high hopes still.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm sure it'll sort itself out.
Yeah,
But,
it's good fun anyway. Trying, as long as I don't get frustrated. That it is a bit frustrating at
Yeah.
times.
Sounds versatile. It's yeah, go on.
It's got amazing capabilities, really.
Yeah.
It's got a built-in automatic antenna tuner and
Wow.
can run 30 watts,
Good.
all modes,
That's great.
160 metres to 70 centimetres.
Does it receive an FM?
Yes, receives on everything.
Oh wow! I mean, in the FM mode though, I wonder because it might be.
Oh yes, it does.
It probably
Certainly does. And transmits in the FM mode.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, good for you. Well, I hope it'll. I look forward to having a look at it next time I visit you. I'll have to.
Oh yes, look,
get a
that's right.
preview.
Next time we get together, I shall make sure you do.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
So that's.
Yeah,
That's a good
I have
thing.
to say the online concerts have been getting a bit of play in this household.
That's good,
Yeah,
Steve. That's
unfortunately,
very
I've been too busy to see them. Kate's made a business of she's really trying to see a couple of concerts a week. And
Yeah,
she's,
that's great.
There's a few live artists who are friends of ours from uni days who are performing a bit, and so she's determined to just see the concerts. And I've seen bits of them, but look, it's good how they got these online concert halls going, and it does offer something for those who are not getting the audiences in a live setting.
We've got our live one coming up on the 31st of January.
That's the one with Rachel, isn't it? With Rachel.
Yeah, it only goes for an hour and 15 minutes, but it's a lovely program. A lot of little pieces of Bach mainly.
Sure. Yeah. She's a wonderful.
So we're looking forward to that.
Wonderful fiddle player.
Yeah. Oh, she is. Yes.
I think I told you, didn't I, that I used to play in a string quartet with
You
Rachel
did indeed,
a long
yes.
time ago. We're both
wonderful.
under 20.
Oh, really?
I think we're about 15 or something. We're very young.
You've certainly, been around, Steve.
Well, not really.
I'd have to say.
Not really, but
I think so.
it's nice association. I actually worked with her more recently too in a couple of things, and she did a workshop which I was hosting, and
Oh, really?
yeah, this is a while ago, and about 5 years ago, and she was just wonderful to work with. She was great. She was dynamic and inspired everybody. It was terrific. So it was good.
Great.
Yeah. So there we go.
My other late breaking news is that there is movement at the station on my music studio.
Oh, marvelous. Yeah.
I think I've found somebody to set it up for me.
Oh,
Or
good.
to help me set it up.
That's good.
He's an audio engineer and a musician.
Oh, good.
I know very little about him, but what I do know is sounding good. So.
Oh, that's excellent, Frank. That's marvelous. So, I mean, look, it'd probably only be a couple of days, or you know.
Oh yeah. There's not a huge amount of work in it. It's just that I really don't have the knowledge to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. And it's just
so,
all of the patching and all of the the feeds and things like that.
I've never seen a configuration of that sort.
Yeah.
And I know in a theoretical sense what's got to be done, but I really would need somebody to do it.
Certainly.
So that's excellent.
And you'll need to get your monitors sorted out and everything else.
All that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to the fruits of your endeavours. We'll look forward to hearing some of your creations. That'll be great. Yeah.
Now, while I'm occupying the airwaves, I'll just tell you a couple of things that I've heard this week. My listening highlights.
Yeah.
We got time for that?
Of course, absolutely.
Well, one of them is a group that I hadn't heard before. It's a group that sings mainly a cappella. Mm-hmm. They're a lot like the idea of North on steroids, really. It's called Coco's Lunch.
Oh, Coco's Lunch. Yeah, we've had a bit to do with them.
Have you?
Yes, Kate knows someone in Coco's Lunch.
They're a terrific group.
They're a marvellous group. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Coco's Lunch, yes. Yes, we used to go and hear them.
They just released a new album, Steve.
Have they? Oh, I must tell Kate.
Oh, and I heard the title track, and it is something else.
Oh, marvellous. Let's have a look. Coco's Lunch, we should have a listen to them. Oh, This is all coming back to me now, yes. Now, where are we? I'm just sort of doing the old proverbial fire up.
I was really taken with them.
Yeah, they're a wonderful group, and they've got great arrangements.
Terrific arrangements.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I don't know what that is. That might be it.
I've probably derailed your program.
Not
schedule.
at all. No, not at all. I'd like to. Let's have a sample of Coco's Lunch. They are a terrific group, and I'm thrilled that you brought them up. And I know the idea of North really well too. Now, but vocal
They're very
groups,
good as well. That's not to denigrate what they do.
No, that's right.
But they're a bit different. Coco's Lunch is a bit more dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's right. They've always been quite adventurous. And look, let's have a listen to one of their tracks here. I don't think it's their latest album, but this is the group we're talking about.
Mama, you way to le mama, to le mama, mama, you way to le mama, to le mama, mama, you way to le mama, to le mama, mama, you way.
Well, there we go. Coco's Lunch and Tulela. Yes, there we go. That was from a few years ago. I imagine their newest album will probably explore some other sort of exotic themes. But,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
So.
terrific rhythmic sense, haven't
Oh,
they?
they're wonderful. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll look out for them. We'll look out for that new album. So I'm thrilled you brought that to my attention. That's good. I must mention it to Kate because she's got this thing about vocal groups, particularly female vocal. Oh, that's
Oh, why not?
yeah. So there we go. That's good.
not?
Thank you. Yay.
Now, the other thing that I heard, which really I'd heard before, but it's amazing, one of those Bulgarian women's choirs
Oh, yes.
singing the sort of folk music thing. You know what I'm?
Yes, I know. It's got a really raw sound, doesn't it? Sort of
raw, but lovely harmonies.
Yes.
And
yes.
very raw. Yes.
Yeah,
Very raw,
it's
very powerful.
it's very, very powerful. I'll see if I can find something of that too because it's visceral. It's incredible. I love that Bulgarian music. Yeah.
It really gets into you. It's
Bulgarian, folk music or folk choir. Oh, look, I'll put something at women's choir maybe because there's a here we go. I wonder if this is of that ilk. The Mystery of Bulgarian Voices, it says here. Well, we'll hear a bit of this. And just,
that sounds very like it. Yes.
Yeah, so we'll see if this fits the...
See what happens.
Yeah, let's go and dial it up now. We are tuning in here. This is vk3sl and vk3jr. We're just exploring the frontier. Here we have some angelic Bulgarian singing. Mystery of Bulgarian Voices, it says here.
All right.
And I think it's just giving us a bit of a background, and we might just need to do a fade or bring it in slightly further down. Here we go.
That's it. That's it.
There we go, Bulgarian music.
Lovely.
It's powerful.
Lovely stuff.
It's really powerful. Yes, it's got a sort of an archaic, ancient feel. There's something sort of primeval.
Very much so.
Yeah,
No, I find it quite moving, really.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and there's a sort of a hard edge, but a really sort of raw emotion, which I find quite penetrating. It's wonderful.
It really gets through, doesn't it?
It does. So, what did you hear this online? What was the nature of the?
I heard it on a radio program.
Oh wow, good. Yeah, excellent. That is brilliant. Well, that's great. It's good to have the week's inspiration. That's nice. Yeah, that's really good. Well,
there are quite a few ethnic stations on AM. And and there are some on FM too on about 151 megs.
Okay.
And they're narrowcast things, I think.
Okay, right. That's good to know. I really haven't looked around much. That's it's great. Yeah. Well, we had our little ethnic episode earlier on. I've been playing all the cyprian music, and I find that really evocative.
It was lovely. That very first tune you played, I remember from my late childhood. I used to listen to these programs. I remember quite distinctly hearing it on a Greek program.
Oh, really? How about that?
Yeah, which kind of makes sense. I think.
Yeah. That's right. Okay.
But yeah, to me, the tune's always stuck in my mind. It's one of those earworm tunes.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just love the melodic shape of music from those cultures.
I know.
It just sort of somehow transports me.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
I know it's a cliche thing to say, but it does. Some music has a real sort of presence, doesn't it?
Oh, totally.
Yay. Well, the next track, the theme for the week, wait for it, folks, this has presence.
Okay.
Well, it's
lasted a good while.
It's the quintessential Baroque da capo aria we're going to hear, and that is Let the Bright Seraphim from Samson by Mr. Handel. Now, what's his birthday? Is it 436th or something, his birthday?
437. I think you're probably right. I think I said 436, but it's one. He was born in 1685.
That's
People
it.
want to do,
That's
as
right.
the Americans say, you want to do the math.
Do the math, yes. I can't count that. Yes. Anyhow, he's been around for a while, Mr. H.
Yes.
And he wrote some very, very good tunes. And this would have to be, I'd say, one of his most enduring. Besides this and the most of the choruses from the Messiah, sort of a standalone, aren't they? And so look, we'll have a listen. I think we'll listen to your favourite recording first because it is just sublime. The one with Kathleen Battle and Wynton Mansalis, and it's brilliant. So I think the listener will know this straight away. They will connect with this piece, and it's glorious. I can quickly just give you a very brief introduction to what it is about. It's something. Yes, it says the Israelite woman calls upon the heavenly host to commemorate Samson's heroic death and triumph over the Philistines. There we go.
Thank you.
Let the bright seraphim. And now, where's the mouse? Let's have a listen.
Nel laura uplifted angel
Whoa, that the Bright Seraphim. What a wonderful, dynamic performance. And how about those improvised trumpet licks?
Yeah, and Kathleen did a bit of improvising as well.
She did. Just there's so much joy in that performance, wasn't there?
Oh, so much. It's feel-good music, isn't it?
Oh, look, it is. Absolutely. Now, I was just noting that that was written immediately after The Messiah. He wrote that.
Isn't that interesting? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they sort of followed on, this followed on from that. So, another oratorio by Mr. H. And, well, look, that was just superb, I have to say. Kathleen Battle has just got such a wonderful flair, and the personality just shines, doesn't it? In that performance.
It's the two coloured performers work beautifully together.
They do. It's a real beautiful dialogue between the two musicians, and I love the way they expand upon it. I always enjoy music that sort of has a slight improvisatory zeal to it, and that definitely did. Yeah, brilliant.
I think that was expected of them when it was written, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, the convention was to improvise, particularly on the reprise, and to sort of colour it and embellish it, and it was. I mean, there are a lot of treatises written about this, and. But it's a tradition that's sort of, well, I mean, yes, they do it now in the revival scene, but for a long time it was a bit of a lost art, really.
It got frozen, didn't it, really?
Yes, it did, yeah. But
they gave it a good ride, didn't they?
Oh, they did. I really like its flair. It's tremendous. Yeah, oh, that was great. Oh, thank you for that. We can jump into the TARDIS and go back to the first recording of this work, which is with Isabel Bailey, recorded back in the 20s. Would you believe? Going way back, and it is interesting. It's extremely different, and it's hard to sort of make sense of after hearing what we've just heard. But well. We have to have an open mind. So we'll hear Isabel Bailey, and she was a very well-known oratorio singer, and she lived right up until the 1970s or 80s, and but she was quite young here. She would have been in her 20s, and here's her recording of "Let the Bright Seraphim" in 1928. Note the tempo.
Oh, yes.
Let the bright seraphim in the
There we go, an
Well,
old world performance of the
yeah, what a
Simpsons.
contrast.
Yeah, she's actually an exquisite singer. She sings
Oh, she was lovely.
she sings
She was,
perfectly
it
in
was
tune. Yeah.
totally, and I loved the sparing vibrato. You know,
Yeah. Now, very centered
I,
tone and very at that speed, it's very hard to control.
I think so. Would be.
I think it holds its own, but it's a very different interpretation that doesn't sort of sit naturally with me because I'm so used to hearing it in a sprightly sort of, forward-looking.
Exactly.
But look, it's interesting. Yeah.
And you really put it to the test playing it immediately after
I know.
a late version.
I know. I do.
It highlights the difference.
Well, it does. It does. Interestingly, she recorded it again a few years later. I won't play.
Did she speed up at all?
No, she still plays it. It's still the same.
Okay.
Which is I'll
That's
play a tiny bit of it. But this was her interpretation of 1943's.
No, she hasn't.
So there we have a sample of Isabel from the 1940s. And she's got a remarkably centered voice, doesn't she?
Oh, very much so. It's a lovely, it's a very, very, very good voice.
Yeah, beautiful voice. So it's interesting to hear it, different guys and big forces. Hearing Handel play with just massive forces, huge orchestra. But
Yes,
it's
I
interesting.
know.
But it is interesting because Handel. There are a number of performances in Handel's lifetime with an orchestra of 500 and incredible sort of large-scale events, and
Yes.
maybe not quite that size, but I think the
Well,
so
lots.
there are precedents to that even in the Baroque time, and there's no way you'd be able to play work like that fast with a huge orchestra. It would just
Exactly right. So that's going to be I was going to say a drag on it, but that's not quite the right word.
Yeah.
It's going to be a governor on it, isn't it?
It certainly would. Just to keep it together with really big
Yeah.
forces. But a very different aesthetic, but very majestic and very dignified.
Oh,
And
I think so.
so I thought I'd just contrast it with that because it just
No.
is so striking. I mean, there are 1,001 sort of wonderful, exciting, modern performances of the work, which are all easy to access. But I thought this would sort of provide a very definite contrast. But,
Yes.
but there's one other one that stands out for me, which I'd like to share. Well, I'd like to play it all
Yes,
because,
please.
and that's with Joan Sutherland, and.
Oh.
So I think this would be lovely to hear. Now, apparently Melba sang this work. It was in her repertoire list, but I looked everywhere through all the discographies and I couldn't find it. I don't think she actually recorded it, unfortunately.
Recorded, what a shame.
Yeah, would love to have known how she sang it, but never the mind. She'd certainly performed it. So this is a recording, from...
When did Dame Joan do it, do you know?
This is early days. I think it's let me see. Has it got a date here? It's from one of her sort of anthologies. Doesn't say. I think would be from the 1960s, I'm guessing. So anyhow, let's have a listen to good old Dame Joan, and I can't recall what her tempo is, but yeah, let's find out.
Find out, okay.
Such a glorious fullness to
What
Joan Sutherland's voice, isn't there?
What a lovely voice.
Yeah, just a superb. And it certainly gave the peak limiter a bit of a run for its money on that last note. Yeah, on her penultimate run. But
That was excellent.
yeah, how about that? That was it really was great, Joan, wasn't it? I mean, she was really on top of her game in that performance.
She sure was.
Yeah,
so
just
good to hear it.
but just such evenness throughout all her range, and yeah, good to hear. So wow, that's there are numerous others. Renee Fleming did a recording. I'd like to hear Cecilia Bartley sing it because she had a very articulate way of singing, and I was looking her up and I couldn't find a recording of her singing this. But she's
It would be interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to hear her do it.
She'd put plenty of fire into it, I should think.
She would just give it that an edge. But anyhow, that's okay. We'll see what. I don't think there's any other. There's Renee Fleming and Kiri Takanawa and others online, but I don't.
I've heard Kiri Takanawa sing. That she's very nice. But,
yeah.
You know, I don't think she added a lot to what we've already heard.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've heard some good contrasting approaches to the work, but it is. It's a. Look, it's great music. It's so joyous and so full of vive and yeah. So Handel was sort of on a roll. I mean, 1743. Now, he didn't live that long after, did he? He lived to about 1750, didn't he? Around about.
No, he lived a fair bit longer than that.
Did he?
Bach died in 1750.
When did Handel die?
I think maybe 59 or 60.
Oh, okay. He kept going.
What happened to him? I think you probably know that he lost his sight.
He did lose his sight, and he had someone scribe for him, didn't he? Or I think both Bach.
Yeah, but he had the same doctor in inverted commas as Bach had.
Oh dear, because they both suffered from the.
Stuffed up both of them. Well, who's to say? But
God,
he certainly didn't.
Yeah, you're right. 1759. Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and so what did he write later on then?
I was just going to ask you.
I don't know much.
Because he would have had to use a scribe.
Yeah.
Bach's kept on writing.
Yeah.
Because he wrote The Art of Fugue.
He did, didn't he? That was a very late work of Bach's.
Well, he didn't even finish it.
No, that's right. It was incomplete. So at 1749, he wrote the Royal Fireworks, and I'm just looking through here.
Was
42 operas, 25 oratorios, and 120 cantatas. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, that's incredible.
It's just such an output. But they're not all of the same quality, of course.
No, I've been to a couple of his oratorios.
Yeah.
You can have the feeling that he perhaps drags it out a little bit too long.
Yeah,
sometimes.
some of them are quite formulaic, I think, and not,
I think so.
and not quite as inspired. But I'm just trying to.
But you get sort of sprinkled through them are great arias and great pieces.
Yeah, you do. That's right, definitely. Yeah, I don't know anything else from Samson. Do you know? Have you ever heard Samson, the oratorio, which this came from? Yeah,
I haven't.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't. I've heard Semele.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Semele's got Where'er You Walk in it, I think.
I think it does. That's 1744. I'm just looking it up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
See, that's lovely. That's gone into the vernacular, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Gosh, yes, absolutely it has. Yeah. Oh, there's so much information here. I can't really glean. That's 1759. So he sort of really almost lived well and truly into the Rococo era, but I don't think he probably didn't modernise his style at all.
No, I don't think he saw the need to.
No, he wasn't in the excuse me, the New Frontier. Yeah, but it's that's very very engaging. Nice to hear that.
He would be again. I don't, as you know, I don't like having favourites and categorising, but he would be my second favourite composer. I think.
It was just the most.
Because of my bent towards the Baroque.
Yeah, totally understand. I can appreciate that, and his melody writing is just he was just such a great melodist.
Yes, indeed.
Is that the word? Yeah.
But
But,
he was also a lovely keyboard writer as well. Have you heard his? I think he wrote 16 keyboard suites.
okay, I've heard select movements. I've never really sat down and listened to a whole handle keyboard suite. It'd be interesting to hear.
They're beautiful. They're way above average. And they're sort of up there with Bach, really.
Wow,
I think.
fantastic. No, it'll be good to have a listen. I'll listen out for those. I know his organ concertos. And,
Yes,
and I've played,
they're lovely.
Yeah, I've played a couple with the chamber orchestra before.
Have you?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
we did some, and with a chamber organ. That was lovely. That
Would be.
They're beautiful works.
There's a lovely one that I love, which is often played for harp and he wrote it for organ, I think, but there's a version of it for harp and orchestra.
Oh, really? I'll have
in
to look.
3 movements.
That sounds great. I'll have to look that one up. It'd be good to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is lovely. It's really beautiful.
Okay. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, Mr. H. And see, Telemann, he had a prestigious output as well, didn't he? He wrote an enormous
More than anyone else, apparently.
I think so, yeah.
No, I think very little of it's lost, which is good.
Which is amazing. I don't think they've even been able to anthologise a lot of it still.
They're still finding it.
Still finding it. Albinoni wrote a lot of music, but most of it was lost in Dresden, which was really sad when they bombed the
Very
library
sad,
in
yes.
Dresden. A huge amount.
Oh, God. That's terrible.
It was one of the great disasters.
As recently as that, that's bad.
Yeah, it is. There was an earlier fire too where a library was lost with all his operas, but he was another composer who had a really amazing sense of melodic shape. He wrote just really beautiful tunes, and the middle movement of his concertos are just to die for. Albinoni's.
Yeah, they're lovely adagios and things like
They
that.
are, and. But so he had that sort of vocal,
Feel about
concept.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no, in one sense, it's amazing at all that any of this music survives so many generations. I mean, when you think of how before the days of copying, when you only had one copy,
Yes, that's right. We're very lucky to have a lot of good music,
yeah,
really.
it's true.
It's just escaped by the skin of its teeth.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the time it has. Yeah.
And a lot of it is copies of copies, isn't it?
I think so. Well, that's it. A lot of Bach's music only survives as sort of third generation transcriptions or second generation transcriptions.
Yeah.
And I know the cello suites don't survive in their original form at all.
Do they not?
They're Magdalena Bach's copy. And
Yes.
and she wrote a couple of copies and they're inconsistent. So there's sort of scholars like to argue about which is the authentic version. And there's a few instances of Bach's music only surviving, and most of his concertos only survive in their versions he wrote for his pupils as keyboard concertos. So a lot of the instrumental concertos don't survive in that form. So, and the Brandenburgs were nearly lost. I mean, that's an incredible story when you think of it. I mean, the Brandenburgs, some of the most glorious music ever written.
Ever written. I think they were found unopened.
That's true. Yeah. They were written. They were written as he wrote them as a job interview. He was wanting to get a Kapellmeister position with one of the big. Manor houses, or I don't know.
I think he was a Margrave.
Yes, that's right.
He was called.
Yeah, that's right. And he was going for the job, and so he wrote this music, and then they didn't even sort of consider it at all. It's terrible, isn't it? It's just incidental.
I know.
Those sort of facts just floor me. I just think it's incredible.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, anyhow, Mr. Bach. Well, I'm flagging a bit today because
Yes,
I had a very early rehearsal this morning. I had to be at work at 7 o'clock. And
I don't know how you do it, Steve.
Well, look, I usually sneak out and get a half hour. I do this each day, and this is the only way I can manage anything really, is to have my cat nap. And I sneak out to the car and I fall into a deep sleep for about 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm completely recharged for the next 12 hours. And
How do you wake yourself up?
I used to always set an alarm, but I always wake up.
Oh, yes.
And
That's good.
Yeah, but I usually
You're
put
not worried you're going to sleep through. I suppose someone would come and get you if you...
Well, they all know I do it, and
that's great.
But I put the seat down in the car, and I sit back and I close my eyes, and I'm instantly asleep. And,
Isn't that wonderful? You must need it so badly.
It's always at lunchtime, and I don't eat lunch, but I just go into the car and sit down and have a sleep, have a thing of water, and then I'm completely recharged. And I've been doing it for years, but probably a decade. And it works really well. But today I didn't get to do it. I had one of those days where I just had to basically non-stop from 7 until after 4:30. And I just really struggled to get through the day. I was so tired.
Look,
so
we should wind up, I think.
So I'll have to wind because I'm just going to have to try and catch up with myself. But that's what happens. But look, next week we will probably be in Inverloch. We've booked the house, and
excellent.
So
excellent.
So it's almost certain that I won't be doing missions next Friday night.
Okay.
So I'll get in touch with. It was to be the night that Jamie comes along, so we might suspend that until the following week. So I'll let Jamie know about that. So yeah, we'll definitely look forward to that in a couple of weeks' time. So yes, to the listener, we'll definitely, almost certainly not be on next Friday. So now to ride out today, there's a beautiful cello recording that's been put up online, a recording of Cedric Sharp, who's an English cellist. And it's the sort of cello playing I just love. It's just a really unremarkable, quaint little sort of Edwardian popsicle piece called Little Columbine by Albert Salmons, and it's a recording made by Cedric Sharp in 1928, and it's utterly delightful.
I'll be most interested.
Yeah, so we'll wind up with this one, Frank, and thank you for your company as always. I'm glad it all went well.
As always, free.
Yeah, well, it was seamless tonight. It was good. Everything worked beautifully.
It makes a change.
Well, look, usually it does. Usually it works really well. And look, don't worry about last week.
It was a wake up call for me, and I've got everything working.
Did you find out? Did you find out what the problem was with the computer in the end?
Yes, I found out what it was. I've got 2 email clients on the computer, and one was interfering with the other.
Oh, they can do that, can't they? Yeah.
And I didn't quite realise, because I hadn't experienced it before, I didn't realise how to stop it. And that was why I couldn't access the Zoom link. But I now know how to. I know it's very easy once you know. So I've tamed that.
Oh, good for you.
And so everything's. But in the process, I've also memorised your phone number so that I can bring you a.
Oh, right. Okay, it's fine. And yes. Definitely. So I'm pleased you have. That's really good.
I should have done that long ago.
No, I keep the phone with me.
Yes, I know. Well, that was I could have saved a lot of anguish last week if I'd had your phone number at my fingertips.
Yeah, sure.
All is well. So it won't happen. It will not happen again.
That's all fine. Okay, no problems. Well, I hope you have a comfortable week and enjoy the. Is it this week you're going to Rachel's concert, or is it next week? Or was it a bit later?
No, it's not till the end of March.
Oh, it's the end of March. Okay, sure.
Yeah, 31st of March.
31st. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. All right. Well.
All right. Well, have a great week. Have a great break.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah, it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice down there, and it'll be a bit busy, but I always find somewhere quiet, and even if it's just...
You're not taking any transmitting gear, I take it?
I don't think I will. I was thinking I
probably have a bit of a break from it.
I think I'll have a break from more radio-related things, and I just tend to enjoy walking on the beach a lot and just finding quiet places to read, and so we'll no doubt do that, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, well,
sounds wonderful.
Have a great week, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Steve.
And thank you very much to the listeners.
Yes, goodbye, listener.
And
Jamie, I'll give you a call through the week if you happen to be listening. I need some help with a program.
Okay, no worries. Well, thank you, and have a lovely week. This is vk3sl saying cheers for now, and let's wind up with Mr. Cedric Sharp on the cello.
Here we go. Cheers, everyone.